All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you are a first-time viewer, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you learned something. And if you are a returning viewer, I truly appreciate your support. Now, today we're talking about something that I saw in the news over the past week. And here's the headline. Google parent Alphabet announces 20-for-1 stock split. What?
What?
Excuse me? 20-for-1? Now, before we start this topic, I must say my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial coach. I am not an investment guru. I am just a guy on the internet sharing some of my thoughts and feelings on a topic. And of course, I strongly encourage you to do your own research. Google about Google. Yeah, there you go. I've got a couple articles here. I will link to the description below, and you guys can check out the articles that I'm referencing. So let's talk about this. So Google stock has announced that they are going to split 20-for-1. So what does that mean? That means if you own one share of Google stock, you will then own 20 shares of Google stock. Now, this is extremely rare for a company to do a 20-for-1 split. I actually tried to research this. I could only find one or two companies over the last 100 years that have done this. It's very common for companies to do a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 or even a 4-for-1 or 5-for-1. I think Apple recently did a 4-for-1, and Tesla also did a 5-for-1 recently. And according to Google themselves, they have previously done 2 stock splits since going public in 2004. They did one in 2014, which was a 2-for-1 split, and then they did another one the following year in 2015. That's the most common split that you'll see with the stocks. If you own 100 shares and it's a 2-for-1 split, then you own 200 shares, but the actual price will go in half. So let's just do simple math here. So let's say if it's a 2-for-1 split, and you own one share and it's $100 value. That means then you own 2 shares and each one will be $50 of value. So you don't lose your money in value, you just gain shares. So the idea is if you hold on to those shares and if you look at that as more of a long-term investment, maybe those shares start going back up in price, and then you've made a pretty good investment because you've doubled your shares, and then the price starts going back up. And then that's where you can really start making some money over the course of time. So with Google, the current stock price is hovering somewhere around 2,800. It fluctuates. So for this, let's just go ahead and round it up to $3,000 just for simple math for this video. So let's say one share of Google is $3,000, which kind of prices out the common man like me. Can't really afford to even buy one share of Google right now. So that's one of the reasons why they're doing this. So at $3,000 a share, when they do a 20-for-1 split, that means the share price will then go down to $150. So simple math, 20 divided by 3,000. So now you have shares that are going to be $150 a piece, which is going to allow the everyday Joe like you and me to maybe invest in some shares of Google if that is something that you would like to do. So I actually read this quote because I was trying to figure out, why in the world would they do a 20-for-1 split? This seems a little extreme. What's going on? So I read a quote from the Alphabet CFO, Ruth Porat, who said, quote, "The reason for the split is it makes our shares more accessible. We thought it made sense to do so." Okay, so that makes sense. I mean, they want to make it more available to everybody that might want to invest in the company as opposed to, the high rollers that can afford, a $3,000 a share stock price. Now, the other reason that this is happening is because Google is making so much insane amount of money that they are going to, do this split. So in the last earnings report, they have their revenue has grown 32%. Now, this is, a lot of people are struggling over the pandemic years. Not Google, not Alphabet. They are growing rapidly and massively and making money hand over fist. And this is why they are doing it. And the article goes on to say a stock split is when a company divides up its shares to lower the price and increase the overall amount of shares available. So that's what's going on here. This could be a tremendous opportunity for anyone who like myself, who's always wanted to invest in Google, but never had the financial means to do so. Of course, we all use their products and their company. And in case you didn't know, Google owns YouTube, which is the platform you're watching this video on now. And of course, they own Google Cloud, Android, Google Fiber, and a bunch of other stuff that you'll see on the screen here. So the idea here is come July, I believe if you're watching this in 2022 when I'm recording this, the announcement is supposed to happen in mid-July. So in mid-July, that's when the stock will actually split, and then that's when you will have the opportunity to buy at the lower price. Or of course, you could, if you had the money now, you could go ahead and buy one share of Google stock, hold on to it, and then in mid-July, then when it splits, then all of a sudden you've got 20 shares, which of course would be the same value. And then you might want to hold on to that. And then, over the course of a couple of years, that stock price might go back up. And then you've made a tremendous amount of money and made a good investment. So for me, my strategy, if you will, is I'm going to wait until the stock splits and the price goes down to a more affordable rate. And at that point, at $150 a share, I might be able to afford 5 to 10 shares, somewhere in that range. And then I will buy those shares and hold on to them for a long-term investment and hope that over the years, now I don't know how long it would take for a $150 share to go back up to $3,000. It might not ever get back up that way again, but it might take 1, 3, 5, it might take 10 years to get back up to that level. But it will be very fascinating to see what happens with that stock after it splits and what type of growth trajectory it would have over the coming years. So this is a very, very interesting thing. You guys put in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Would you rather buy a stock, the Google stock now, and then when it splits, then you've got 20 to 1, or should you wait, like I'm going to wait until it splits, and then you can buy more shares at a lower price, and then hope that value goes back up? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever experienced anything like this with any of your other stocks? I know I've had some other stocks that have split. I think I've bought some Coke stock a long time ago, and it split a couple times, but nothing like this, nothing like 20 to 1. This is very, very unprecedented, if you will, from the research that I've done. Again, do your own research, make your own decisions, do your due diligence, check out the articles I'm going to link below. Let me know what you think. But this is a very, very interesting situation to follow. Even if you don't end up buying the stock, it's very interesting to follow to see what happens with the share price and the stock price and what happens with the Google valuation as we head toward the end of 2022 and then into 2023. So this is Jason Brown saying thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something. This was fascinating for me to find out, and I will definitely be following the situation. Put in the comments below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much, and remember my favorite saying, it's not the amount of money you make, but the margin that matters the most. See you next time.